Hey guys, it's Crazy Pickle. So today's video is going to be about Grovewalker's guide. Also, if you haven't seen my Grovewalker overview, the time when we got that class, I will leave the link in the description down below. If you want to just go ahead and check it out. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, first thing is the gear setup. So the Grovewalker is a really good class, kind of balanced between DPS and defense, but since it's in a defense category, so he still goes a little bit better at defense than DPS. So in this case I will show you the full defense setup that I'm using currently. Usually I'm using like for distortions for now. I didn't do anything else as a Grovewalker in the defense part, but okay. So the first thing is your artifact, right? Usually I'm using a tree wing, and depends on the situation. Sometimes I might gonna use something different. Maybe that new hyper engine that I got from the night event last time, or pretty much that's all. If you don't have a tree wing, you might gonna try to use I don't have it on me, but it's called impenetrable shield. So, and if you do something with a team, every time you get a shield from somebody like LB or Alchemist, that shield will increase in durability. So the impenetrable shield artifact, it's increasing the durability for the shield. So that's that. But if you have a tree wing, do definitely use the tree wing. Of course, the gear. So the jewelry is it's going to be a ring, brooch, and then the sapphire and topaz will be as you can see, it's a Gen 11, Gen 13, Gen 13. But because I don't care about the critical damage and main damage, because I'm fully defense, I'm focusing only on key stats, which is the general defense, protection against elite, healing, efficiency. And secondary stats, mobility after healing, defense when wounded, protection against control. Same thing is gonna be on the sapphire, and ring is gonna be a barrier, get general defense, maximum stamina, then melee defense, range defense, and defense after healing for the secondary stats. Same thing, it's going to be with the brooch, and I actually had the brooch 14 mythical that I got as a drop, so I was able to max that and get that 3600 maximum health multiplier. And of course I put the key stats and secondary stat as a defense. So also important, the aspect jewelry, which is the implacability of aspect. If you can get it, do it definitely. And the place where you can get that is the training avatar, so just do that as often as possible and you might have a chance to get that. But it's not going to give you right away this, because there is 4 different jewelries and it gives you in order. So but if you can get that, it's really cool. And of course this one I'm using because my tenacity is maxed, which allows me to wear 2 legendary pieces of gear, and that's why I'm using this for maximum health. So as you can see right here, well, it's not gonna show it here because I'm in the invasion region. Anyway, that's that, I believe, for the gears. I'm still using my DPS Ruby and Emerald, so just for the maximum health multiplier. And yeah, okay, that's that for the gear. Let's jump into the symbols. So symbols, pretty simple. Everything, each symbol is gonna be pretty much fully defense part. So alright, the first one is emblems. Of course, we're gonna choose emblems of protection, because I would say emblems of mercy doesn't heal you, it only heals the most wounded group member. So if you're not a most wounded group member, definitely not gonna heal you. So in my opinion, in my case, I'm using emblems of protection, and in my opinion, that's the best choice. So the second one will be, of course, emergency maneuver dodge. Every time you dash, you get that 4 seconds invulnerability. And the second one, I mean the third one, will be the protective shelf, because the more hits you get, it's for every 10% of health lost, you gain effective reduce incoming damage by 40% for last 6 seconds. So it's pretty good. And since you get hit a lot, and let's say if you hit by a bunch of enemies, it helps a lot too. Of course, we're gonna use the reflective barrier. That's also helpful. As long as you're not moving, you get that shield and you're not gonna get any damage. So the next one will be defense mode, or you can choose the support mode. It doesn't really matter. Let's say if you soloing something, of course the defense mode will always gonna be on you. If you're in a team, then it's gonna just pick up the random allies. So that one's pretty much about the divine weapons. So that one you can just probably choose a reactive material or awakening of power, so I would say not a big deal. And the last one will be the stolen energy. Also the gives you the shield, absorbs 8% of the character's maximum health, so really good. And of course the always divine healing and willpower, and that one, if you have a verdict, then keep the verdict. It doesn't really matter which one you're gonna choose here. So, and the divine weapon depends on the situation. You can use Near Hammer, or let's say if you, I guess, PvP, maybe you can just use the sword. So it depends on the situation. So, but yeah, you can, if you have all the weapons, then you can just play with that around. And of course, if you PvP, you can choose whatever weapon you want to choose. It's completely up to you. And of course, the last part is abilities, and what kind of abilities you need to use all the time, or let's say the important abilities for the Grovewalker as a tank. So definitely it's gonna be your basic attack, so left click. Then of course it's gonna be the Breath of the Forest. It's probably the most important ability that you have to use as often as possible. Pretty much every time when it's ready, you need to use it. And of course it's gonna be your right click. So, and I will tell you why and what actually these two abilities does. And of course you're gonna be your ultimate attack, which is the fighter form. And pretty much in that fighter form, you're just only gonna use Touch of Life, Shield of Thorns, and probably right and left click. So you don't need this as a tank, unless you need to stun someone and knock enemies on the ground, whatever. So things like that. So also I'll maybe use that, depends on the situation. If you have tons of enemies around you, then yes, you can use that just to knock them out, and just to kind of get the time for you to heal back and stuff like that. So, or maybe like wait for the cooldown of some certain abilities. So now the most important part, because you need to use the Breath of Forest, and why you need to use it as often as possible, because that when you use that, it generates 50 points of your rage. As you can see, the blue bar underneath my health. And then the right click, what it does when you use it, spawns the flowers, right? If you spawn all 4 flowers, it brings up to 70%. Well, usually 75. It gives you extra 25. But in this case, as you can see, it's 70 now. And then what you need to do, just use the left clicks basic attack to get that to 100%. And when you get the 100, that way you can use your ultimate ability. So you go to the ultimate ability, go 4, then 1, and pretty much you just, if it's a single target, left clicks. If it's a multiple targets, just spin around. So that's pretty much it. Maybe if you need to knock the enemies, then you can use your 2 abilities. The time you got out of your ultimate attack, you get shield for, I believe, 20 seconds, and it's a really strong shield, so it really helps a lot. And then the time you got out of the your ultimate ability, just use your Breath of Forest right away, spawn the flowers again, and keep using left clicks again. So That's pretty much it for that. You just need Breath of Life, left click, ultimate ability, and the right click to spawn the flowers. Alright guys, that's that for this part, and let's jump to the actual action. So this is footage from me soloing C2, and if you haven't seen me soloing C2, it took me about 40 minutes, and I will leave the link in the description down below, so if you'd like to, go ahead and check it out. Alright, so the Grovewalker defense class has also pretty good DPS part on him, and it's actually really surprisingly for the defense class, but it's also a good thing too, so you can play both ways. If you really like the Grovewalker, like his abilities and all the like action and all that fun part, then you can definitely set up your Grovewalker as a full DPS and do some missions with that. It's still really good class. But in my case, I'm really prefer to keep him as a defense just for me, so it's my personal thing. I never had a chance to actually put him full DPS and kind of tested how good he really is as a with a full DPS setup. But some people, I saw some people was playing with a full DPS and they was doing actually pretty good damage. So I think this is the best class in defense category. The Paladin, if you compare Grovewalker to the Paladin, then Paladin is only good when you have the weapon from the pack, which has that extra ability that does really good damage, and it also each hit actually heals you back a specific percentage. But on the defense part, I think the Grovewalker will be the much better because you have self-healing when you're in fighter form, which is your ultimate ability, and you have that pretty much every time. You don't have a cooldown on your ability, and it's really easy to get 100% rage back to get and use your ultimate ability back again. So with full defense setup, you should be able to survive as long as possible to get to your ultimate ability and use it again, and use the healing and the reflective thing and stuff like that. So the fun part is, like, as you can see in this footage, in the ultimate ability I have 3.4 T health. So let's say if you're in C2 and you are as a Grovewalker and you're tanking, you can survive the bomb explosion easily, because the bomb explosion, it does only 2 T damage, so it doesn't go over that. So pretty much you just go ulti, keep boss on you, and you're still able to survive the explosion. So this is a really good thing, and plus you healing yourself. My personal opinion, I'm really like the Grovewalker. All the time that I spent, which wasn't that much, that I played a Grovewalker, but still I think that all the time that I played it and I was actually tanking it, I really liked it. I think that's a really cool class. You're always healing yourself. You're pretty much with the right setup, and the timing when you're using your abilities, you're pretty much unkillable. It depends, of course, on the situation. If you're fighting against a group of enemies, let's say maybe you're tanking some group of enemies like 4 bars, and maybe later some minions around, so a lot of enemies to tank, maybe that in that case it's going to be a little bit tougher. So, but still, on my opinion, I think the Grovewalker is really good as a tank. Like I said, if Paladin doesn't have the weapon that the Paladin can heal himself, then I don't think the Paladin can actually do really good, even against tons of enemies around him. So plus you also have that ability that you're gonna become a little flowers, which you have completely immune to everything. That's a pretty cool thing. Well, alright guys, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Well, I hope you really like this. If you like this video so far, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel and you're watching this video, guys, please hit the subscribe button, and of course don't forget to activate the notification button that you know when I post my new video, guys. Alright guys, until the next time, take care.
You a fool's gold. Yes, I did.